Okay, but how come lots of people are still writing so many things and saying that unilaterally, because they also say that one comment coming through, memos going from your desk to that of the technical committee of the NCP, some of them which says that they pointed out that for interstate electrics to have failed to make the payment towards the settlement of the outstanding balance of 75%, as you say, only to show up with a mere term sheet on the eve of payment deadline, they say, was evidence of unseriousness and lack of focus. Was there any such memo to your desk, and is it true?
Hello, you see, sir, I have explained the process which is enshrined in the share sales agreement. People are entitled to their opinion. We cannot gag people and stop them from writing articles and making commentaries. And you see, we have come to realize that most of this bad press are coming from those who lost in the process, those who feel they should be, the preferred bidder should be disqualified so that they can be given a window to enter. We are used to this, so it doesn't ruffle us. As far as we're concerned, we follow the due process strictly, and we ensure that everything we do is transparent and is there for everybody to see. We cannot gag people from expressing their opinion.
Do you ever see a situation where, you know, another government will come in? Because we have seen that in our history, and we'll be told that due process wasn't followed or something happened, and, you know, all of these processes will be cancelled. Do you ever envisage such a situation? Do you think this is foolproof?
Well, this particular transaction has been acclaimed internationally to have been transparent, to have been one of the best processed and best handled privatization transaction, and indeed the single biggest privatization transaction in the history of the world. All these insinuations will not change the facts that has been recognized internationally.
How soon? Because for Nigerians at the end of the day, what we're looking to see is improved power supply. How soon do you think Nigerians should look forward to experiencing improved power supply?
Now, there are two segments to that. One, maintenance. Second, expansion in capacity and improvement in infrastructure. Now, these power assets have not been run under the best maintenance standards. So we will expect that the new owners, having taken over, will now have to order spares and other equipment in order to maintain the existing plant and machinery. So we expect that in a period of 3 to 6 months, they should be able to ship in some of these spare parts. Some of them are not off the shelf. They have to make special order and for them to be manufactured. We expect that in 6 months, we should be able to see an improvement in the power output of the installed capacity. Remember, we have been struggling to stabilize power and raise out of the 6,000 capacity. It has hovered between 1,700 and 4,000. It's been fluctuating because the maintenance culture has not been the best. But we expect that these private sector investors will bring in high levels of standards of maintenance, and very soon we should be able to see this equipment crank up power above the 5,000 megawatts of installed capacity. I mean 6,000 megawatts. Now, on the other aspect of improvement in capacity and improvement in generation, it takes 2 to 5 years to build a power generation plant. For thermal, if the contractor crashes the program, he can do it in 2 years plus. Ordinarily, it will take 3 years. A hydro plant will take between 3 to 5 years to build. So in terms of improved generation capacity, we have to wait for 2 to 5 years. But that does not stop the private sector initiative from going to other countries and dismantling idle capacity plants and bringing them to Nigeria, in which case we can see increased capacity in less than a year. People can float in a batch power producing plant and keep it by the riverside or by the seaside and generate power and put on the grid. So we're not strictly saying that power capacity will only have to be by new plants. It's possible that some of these generating companies will come in with already established plants, dismantle them or wheel them over from other countries and bring them into Nigeria. So give us 6 months minimum, you will see power stabilize in Nigeria.
Okay, we have Sheson who writes in, he's watching, and he says to ask you that he sees that the same set of top managerial staff that were there before they hand over to successor companies are the ones that are still there now. He thinks, how do you think that all of this will actually meet its target or deliver with this kind of development?
Now, I didn't get your question on labor, but I can conjecture what you're saying. That there's going to be some issue about manpower, because the manpower in PHCN had aged, and recently there had not been recruitment of fresh young blood into the power sector. So that is another challenge that the power sector is going to face moving on. The fact that we need more engineers, more skilled people that can handle the equipment. The other aspect of it is that if you are referring to the issue of resolution of labor issues in terms of their entitlements, all the staff that have been verified, and there are 40,696 of them that have gone through a biometric capture and a process of validation of their identity and their authenticity as bona fide PHCN staff, and labor participated in this process. All these 40,696 have been paid. What do I mean by paid? Government has remitted their money. The component of severance had gone into their individual current accounts. Their pension component has gone to the pension custodians, who are in the process of remitting it to their retirement savings account. And I think the bulk of them, the majority of them, must have already received alerts for their retirement savings accounts. Okay. Now, there is about 7,000 who have issues. Now, 1,478 of them from Enugu territory alone, whose biometric capture was corrupted by virus. And so we had to send another team and to do a fresh biometric capture. We are expecting that by early next week, this biometric capture will be concluded, and this 1,478 will be paid their entitlements. There is another component of about 2,500 who are mainly casual staff, who we have so far not been able to verify their authenticity. We are awaiting information from each of the successor companies to give us the details of such people. Once we are able to validate and authenticate their genuineness as PHCN staff, they also will be paid. There are also about 900 dispersed in various territories whose data capture was also corrupted. We are also in the process of organizing a process where we will bring them to Abuja or the closest location to where they are residing in order to do a fresh biometric capture so that we can resolve. But I want to assure every PHCN staff who has not yet been paid that you will be paid. The money is there. Government has made a commitment and has fulfilled its side of the bargain.
Sheson's question, still talking about manpower. He says mostly the disengaged members of staff are the technical strength of the unbundled companies. Do you see a challenge with this? Did you hear me?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Did you hear me?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
The question here from Sheson says, he thinks he has a concern actually. He says, mostly the disengaged members of staff are the technical strength of the unbundled companies. He thinks that this might be a challenge.
No, conversely, Chamberlain, most of the people that were laid off were non-technical staff. No competent engineering staff was laid off. If there is any engineering staff who has been laid off, it will be on the grounds of age and on the grounds of years of service. But the bulk of those who were laid off were those who were non-technical staff, administrative people, who are more or less overburdening the system without adding value. If you recall, if you look at the capacity of PHCN, you have 47,913 staff servicing 6,000 megawatts. Now, if you do a calculation of staff per megawatts and compare it with other similar capacities, you will know that PHCN was grossly overstaffed. So what we have simply done is to lay off the excess staff and leave the core engineering staff in place. And even if you left every engineering staff in place, there will still be need for more engineers.
Okay, well, you talked about giving it some months and that everything will stabilize and we'll see a lot of progress. But from your assessment, I mean, you've seen the technical capability of these companies that bidded, the successor companies. Hope also says, well, we need to peak at 40,000 megawatts. How long will it take these companies, their combined output, to achieve this?
Well, you see, each one of these generation companies gave a technical plan which laid out what they intend to invest and what capacities they need to bring on stream moving forward. Now, unfortunately, I don't have that kind of record to be able to tell you what plans cumulatively, when implemented, how many megawatts of power or kilowatts of power will result from that investment.
That's the cue. All right, I'm afraid we have to let it go there. Apologies for that glitch. We've been speaking with Mr. Benjamin Dikki, who is the Director General of the Bureau of Public Enterprises. We've been talking about the privatization, the handover of PHCN to successor companies. He did say, give us some time, it will work. Just keep your comments and questions coming through to us here. We'll appreciate all of them. We'll be back after this break. We've got more perspective coming on, so please join us again if you can.